One more powder now, one more powder tonight.
Hi everyone, and welcome to what will definitely be the last part of the old barn. It might be quite a long one, this, because I want to tidy and titivate everything up and do the grass. So it will definitely run on past the hour, but however long it runs, that's how long it's going to run for, because we are going to finish this barn today. There's going to be a barn raising. As you can see on the screen, please. That one, this one, no, that one. Oh, that one. Please subscribe. Yeah, there, look, please subscribe. Got my finger in the right place eventually. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. It won't disturb you in any way, shape or form. They don't send you emails, they don't send you adverts, they don't do anything at all. The only thing it does do is it helps my channel become more visible to other people, which is a good thing because it spreads us around a bit more, gets our name known out there. So if you possibly can subscribe, I would appreciate it a lot. And that's that. So let's get cracking. So I'm sitting here looking at our painting, and haven't we come a long, long way? I think we should be justly proud of ourselves. But what I aim to do now is to do the tarting and titivating, and the last thing we're going to do is the grass. There's some things, as you know, when I've finished for the day, I put all my paintings up on the, whatever I've been doing that day, up on the mantelpiece, so I can sit and look at them. I don't sit and stare at them for 6 hours during the evening, but they're there, and I can catch them, look at them, and see what I think. And with this, there's several things that I think are just kind of off kilter a little bit. Nothing major, absolutely nothing major at all, but just things that I think would help our painting. It would enrich it. And I'll just do a quick whiz of what I think they are. I think the coloration up here, which was the first bit of this boxcar that we put on, I think it needs sorting out a little bit. This titanium buff that we've got quite a lot of here isn't really represented anywhere else. We've used raw sienna for the bright colours, and I think that we need... It doesn't need to be raw sienna, that would be far too dark, but it needs sorting out somewhat. This lilac-y colour is too lilac, even although that was what our picture was representing to us. It's obviously been a mixture of the photograph, what it looks like on screen, how the printers printed it out, and we've come... You know, when you look at your reference picture, it does have this mauves in, but I question whether they're actually there in reality. And even if they are, it doesn't look right, so I'm going to change that for one. Secondly, coming down the picture, I'm just going to add a little bit to the bottom of this cloud, just so they don't look identical, just make the sky look a little bit more credible. This tree here, it's obviously got branches, you can see them, but they're not represented on this side. All I can see here are just clumps of leaves, and they look like they're just kind of hanging there in the sky. So I just want to put only a couple, just a few branches on there. Coming down again, we've resolved this problem. I've done that in a grey blue, and I've greyed out the water just a little bit because mine was azure blue. It was far too blue. I'm happy with all of that and that, but this section here, I think on mine I've got the coloration wrong. If you look at my reference picture, it's actually not a million miles away. They're very similar, and I've copied that coloration, but it just stands out as being not quite the right shade. So I'm going to put a brown glaze over that and just knock that back a little bit, and then I'm pretty happy with everything else. This will get chipped into this edge here, and you can see the grass behind it, so we'll do that when we're doing the grass. And I think apart from that, I'm really happy with it. Very happy with what we did in the last instalment, which was this section down here. I think that's probably my favourite part of the whole painting, actually. Just love that dry brush in there. So it's not going to get finished just talking about it, so we better crack on. And I'm going to start with this top section. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. So
this is clear. I've got no issues with the tone. I don't need to alter anything there.
You have to speak up because I won't hear you. So you're happy with that bit there?
Yeah. It's just a tight and buff colour, I think, is what needs work, don't you?
Yeah. So I'm going to put out some titanium buff, some raw sienna, and also a darker brown when I work out what colour that should be. Probably burnt umber, I think. Yeah, I think so. That ties in more with the sides of the boxcar. I mean, I was very pleased with that top section when I did it, and I'm not displeased with it now. It's just it doesn't sit well with these. And it's not the purple, I don't think, because we've incorporated the purple throughout our woodwork, throughout the whole painting. Actually, purple's been our friend. We've used it quite a lot down here and down here and here, but there's just rather too much of it there, and it just stands out as being not altogether right. It's not sitting well. So let's get a 1/4 inch angle shader. To start with, I've just been using these so they're wet, and I'm just going to start with this bit down the bottom, and I'm going to mix a bit of raw sienna and a bit of burnt umber, and just really come into this and sort of brown it down a little bit. I think we're quite right where our coloration was. I'm not displeased with that. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit more of the raw umber on its own and bring it down darker into this section here. And this section here, I think, is it is still pretty light. It's pretty titanium, but it needs some raw sienna in through it. I think that's a better colour, because it has still got to be light. Blend that in a little bit into there. Yeah, I think that's more credible. Let's say it's more credible. So we mix these two up again and go in on this side again. And changing darker as we get further down to here. I mean, it may well be that you've done yours perfectly and you're happy with it. That's great. Save yourself the bother of doing this. So this sort of darker version of titanium buff, really, and just sort of blend it into there. I think that's better. I think that's better already, actually. Now these sections here, I think they need to be pretty much raw sienna. don't really like that. Oh, I've got a darker colour. Just pull a bit of that out. It's quite exciting that we're getting to the end, isn't it? I mean, I must say I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Really have. Really, really have. And I just want a darker colour just there. So that's sort of shaded in. And the raw sienna again here. I'm just going to shade that in just again with the burnt umber. Just mixing it on the canvas, blending it so we've got no hard edge. I think that looks better already, to be honest with you. Now I'm going to use raw sienna where I've got this titanium buff, and it might be a bit of a shock to the system to start with, but we can always put a wash over it, put another colour over it, but I think that's what it needs. So let's give it what we think it needs. It's always a good thing with a painting. Give it what you think it needs. You can't go wrong if you do that. And this is quite bright round here also. Of course, we're painting straight over titanium buff, so we've got a really good base for it. You know, showing up as being sienna. Yeah, I think that's better. I might go over it with some burnt umber in just a second, but let's just get that bit on there. Right, okay, let's just straight into the burnt umber and just maybe shade it out a little bit. Not much. We're just knocking it back just ever so slightly. Okay, so you know, we're making progress. Just wondering about that colour there. I think I might just mix a little bit of that, a little bit of all of my colours together. That's slightly more titanium buff than anything else. Yeah, and try that in there. Come on, a little bit like that. Darken it down just a touch, and I'm just going to get some of this on my brush and just blend it in a little bit. Fingers sometimes as good as anything for blending, to be honest. So we'll leave that and see if we come to love it or not. I think it's what's needed for there. I don't think we've got too many alternatives. So back into our raw sienna. Let's see if we can't just bring these back a little bit in keeping with the rest of everything. This has actually still got some burnt umber in it, so it's not hit you in the face. Raw sienna. And that piece there as well has annoyed me for several evenings now. So it's going back like that. Okay, I'm gonna get cracking with this burnt umber and, well, burnt umber and a little bit titanium buff, titanium buff, and just go over some of these very lilac-y colours and push them back a little bit. Just not sure they're sitting really, really well, comfortably, let's say. So it's a lovely day here in Northumberland. It's really, I feel like summer has begun. Let's hope it's a really long and pleasant one for everyone. Actually, we haven't had a bad winter. We've had a very mild winter. But even so, I feel like we deserve a nice summer. We haven't had a really nice long hot summer for years now. This is beginning to look better already. I'm feeling more settled with it now. So I'm basically exchanging the titanium buff for the raw sienna, and I'm exchanging the mid-tone lilac for a mixture of burnt umber and titanium white. Titanium buff, sorry. So this section in here needs to be knocked right back. And I think when we finish this, we'll see quite why we've bothered to do it all. I mean, we've made all this effort with everything, you know, let's get it right. That's what I say. Let's get it right. I'm not sure that that's square, actually. I'll put that across there. Looks a bit better. Okay, so I was busily... let's just nip my colour out of there. I was busily mixing this with a little bit of this and exchanging this that we have here for our mid-tone lilac-y sort of colour that we had. Mixed that very well, as you can see. Leave the dark colour in. I don't have a problem with the dark colour. It has its place in there and it's right where it is. So it's just this very lilac-y lilac. I think it doesn't sit well with the rest of the boxcar now. Although it looked great when we did it. Oh, Mr. Fixit's cooking dinner, I can smell it. Spaghetti bolognese tonight. Chicken skewers, what do you call them? Kebabs, yeah. They were delightful. They were really lovely. So just mixing up mid-tone with those two colours. I'll come back with raw sienna for that purple bit there. It's just a touch of it there. Still need that in. Okay. So just adding a little bit more burnt sienna to that mix for this section here. It needs to be a little bit darker. Now then. Just going to put that in there, that little tiny little section in there, which hopefully will square that line up, which has been off since the day it was put in, and has annoyed me quite a lot actually over this time. that we've been painting this. I wanted to show you what we were going to be painting next, actually, at the end of this, but I haven't just quite made my mind up yet. Although I do think, out of the choices that I have now, it's going to be sensational. It's going to be a huge project, and it's going to be sensational. I need this a little bit darker in here. Once again, I'm just going to tamp that in with my finger, like that. And that dark bit, I might just enliven that slightly there. Okay, right. So we've done those bits. There's this bit here that's quite a worry. So that's a sort of the darker part of it there, and then it gets lighter, so let's mix some titanium buff into it. Just make this section here lighter. Once again, just use your finger just to blend that in. That's fine. And then it's quite a light bit actually on the on this end. Yeah, okay, maybe a little bit darker actually. A bit darker than that. Just add a little bit of that into it and down this side. And here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's all right. So now I've got this hooky bit that I never did quite understand what it was all about. But it doesn't want to be that colour, I don't think. So we're bringing everything back to brown. Used to be, there is an LP, or what was something called Back to Black, isn't there? In our case, we're going back to brown. While we're doing the rest of this, this can be drying, and then we'll get a better idea of quite what's going on really with it all. No, I wanted that in raw sienna. This bit here, I think, would benefit from being in raw sienna. Right the way back to there. Yeah, it's okay. Right, well, I think that's better. Yeah, I think so. Let's leave that anyway to sit. We'll think about that. it'll be much easier to tell once it's dried and settled down. So the next thing that I want to do is just to, I just want to look at this cloud here. I don't want to change the colour. I like the way the blue's showing through. I just want to add a little, tiny little bit of white trailing off. Just so it doesn't look so similar to the other one. Because very often you don't get sort of twins of clouds. So I'm using my Deerfoot stippler. It's dry. Excuse me. Try and always use your Deerfoot stippler when it's dry. If it's wet, you won't get the clear markings that you will get from it when it's dry. So we'll just pounce into there, pounce it off onto the palette. If you've got loads, pounce it off onto your towel. I'll just get rid of some because I really don't want very much. And I just want it to come to trail away down here. And I mean, it's nothing. You wonder why I'm bothering doing it, really. But it's just going to add a point of difference between the other one. So there, I think that's fine. I don't think it needs any more than that. I like it. It's just a little wisp in the sky. So there we are. Right, so our next job that we said we'd do is the twigs on here, which I think we did with quite a dark brown before. I'm going to do them in this burnt umber with my striper brush, dagger. Does that look alright? No, yeah.
Yeah, that's very, very nice. The whole thing's a very attractive picture.
I think that looks alright now.
And that's just the one at the top left.
Oh dear. So we're going to use this burnt umber. I don't remember what I'm doing. My brush isn't damp enough. And you do need a bit of water with these daggers, just so as you can move the paint. I think really they probably are watercolour brushes. So there we are. We should have a nice thin line. And now we just need to decide where this branch is coming from. So I'd say we'll bring it up from here. We'll just let it fork off to there. And there perhaps. And maybe bring it up this way. Let it fork off. Ooh, that's a big one. There, through the leaves, just so you can see it through the leaves. And this one we'll do it like that, so it looks like the leaves are in front and behind. And we'll just pull one out from here, like that. And that's it. It needs nothing more than that. That's absolutely fine. Great, so we're getting through our jobs. Our next one on the way down is this, I believe. So we need to make up a little glaze for that. So this is glazing medium. You've seen me use it before, I know. So I'm just going to use my other 1/4 inch angle shader. Just get some glazing medium out. Not to be confused with your titanium white, folks, because it does a very different job. Could you just put the lid on that? I've just put it on cockeyed. Thank you. And I'm just going to use a little bit of this burnt umber because I've got it out. But I think it's what I would have used anyway. But it's there, so let's have a go with that. And I am making up a really loose glaze of this. It's mostly all glazing medium. But you know, we can always go back and do it again. So let's have a look and see. Yeah, that's better, I think. That's better. So today we really are going to address all the things that have niggled us right from the start, or even what you did yesterday, whatever it is, let's get it sorted. So by the time we come to do the grass, we're absolutely really happy with what we've got. I think that looks a lot better. It may need another glaze. I'll just give it a quick dry and see, but I think we're probably alright. I'm just going to glaze down there as well. I've gone glazy happy, and maybe down there too. My goodness, stop the woman, she's gone glazing happy. Yeah, that looks like it's better.
Your eyes have glazed over.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Depends.
Alright, okay. I think I'm going to have to redo that black bit now because I've put glazy stuff. I'm just going to switch the hairdryer on.
Hang on a second.
Yeah.
I shall just...
So that glaze, I got Mr. Fix-It shouting at me. He's shouting at me. That glaze is dry now, and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at it on screen, and I'm trying to work out whether I think that's enough, whether it's been knocked back enough. What do you think, Mr. Fix-It?
Put my glasses on.
Put your glasses on, have a good look. Does it need another coat? Yeah, no.
I don't know.
Thanks for your input. It's getting another coat.
My considered opinion is I don't know.
I know, it's the dodgy one, isn't it? I'm going to give it another coat because I want to rid my painting of mauve.
Yeah, that's the way I'd have gone.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. I think that's much better. I like it a lot. That's another little task knocked off our finishing up, titivating. Yeah, that's better. That is much better. I just need to reach for my black because I need to put this black post in because I've just glazed over it.
Yeah, don't get the horse itch.
Oh yeah, that's when I do the grass.
That's the easy thing to forget. Not that it matters.
Yeah, no, I've got it stenciled in, transferred in. It's just, we're talking about this hitching post or whatever it may be. I'm calling it a hitching post because it sounds kind of country and western. And I like country and western. What am I doing? Oh yeah, my black thingy. Just going to use my dagger brush because it's quite good at getting straight lines and I need it for down here. If I hadn't been so glaze happy, I wouldn't have to do this. But it's in there and I want it to be in there. So that's fine. Happy with that. Oh, Cali. Right. Well, I think we're getting rapidly approaching the grass. Any other jobs that I said that I haven't done?
Top the branches inside of that barn.
That was it, wasn't it?
I think that's pretty much it, isn't it?
Wow. Right. Okay. Time for the grass. Right. So what I propose to do is mask off the side of the boxcar. So as if we go, I don't actually need that much because I'm not going to be putting grass in the tree, to be frank. So we put it on there and just bring that down so we can then go mad with the grass with impunity. Right down to the bottom. Don't think I've got that straight. Right down to there. And then we don't need to be forever shielding our sides when we're putting the grass in. This is just going to be a bit more awkward, isn't it? It's just a little bit at the bottom there, but it's worth taking a minute just to mask that off, because there's quite a bit of detail goes into the shadow. Ooh, that's not long enough.
Have we had that before?
This still isn't blooming long enough.
Have we had that before?
I don't know. No idea. Cannot even hazard a guess. Right, so this top bit here, don't forget it's got that sort of return on the top of it, which we don't really want to paint out. This bit's going to be a bit dodgy because I want to do the grass, but I also want to cut into this, so we'll just beware when we get to there that we need to do a bit of jiggery pokery. So now we need to get the greens out. We can say goodbye to all these, most of these anyway, these colours here. I've got a really full desk today, I don't know. I might need some more at some stage.
I wasn't going to destroy them.
So I'm going to get all the greens out that we used before when we put the base of the green grass in, so they're accessible to us. And we'll use some mixes of colours and whatever we feel necessary at the time. I was going to go very, very, very detailed with this grass. I'm going to go as detailed as it needs. I'm going to do what the picture is asking me for. So it will be detailed enough, but I'm not going to put every last blade of grass in it. There's quite a lot of that. Once I've got these out, I'm just going to have a little break for 5 minutes. It will be sort of 1 minute in your time, or 5 seconds, or whatever. Just have a drink, because it's really warm. And then we'll get cracking with the grass, and then we're finished. Right, so now we're down to the serious business of the grass. Let's have a good look at the reference picture here. And if you hold yours up so you can really see it. There's a lot of light, dead grass around the place. And then there's darker ones, but the interesting thing is down here. It's a shadow, so it's quite a hard edge as we've put in, but you can see the green just coming over it. And I think our Deerfoot Stippler is the perfect thing to achieve that those lines there. And then you'll see there's just small bits of vegetation until it comes to here when we've got some dried grass in titanium buff. I would say it's very light. So I think the place to start is at the back and come forward, so we're not putting our hands in wet paint. And the thing that I sort of want to do is just darken that down slightly so it looks like it's going away and not growing up the side of the of the barn. So I shall use, what shall I use? I'll use my striper, this one, and it is quite a light colour, quite a light yellow. I'm going to put some Naples yellow out as well, actually. So I think that's an appropriate colour to have with this grass, and it might mix well with some other colours. So I'm just going to start with a little bit of Naples yellow and just see if I can push it back a little bit. Don't think this is the best brush for the job. So just push that back. We don't want details, that's what we don't want. So I'm trying not to detail this. Just push it back a bit, really, if we can. I think that's fine. I think that's okay. And then there's a sort of just a slightly darker patch just in at the bottom there. It's a bit larger there. I like that. And then there's this nice dark section, but there's a lot of titanium buff in there. So just free that from that mixture. Now you can't really see the blades at this stage, so it really is just a matter of putting the colour in. You can see that there is something there, and it's this colour, but you can't really see quite what. There's quite a lot of it here. Right then, so as we come forward to this hitching post here, that's quite vibrant yellow. So let's get some yellow out. So this cad medium. You don't need much of it, but it does reoccur throughout. So let's take a little bit of that and a little bit of Naples yellow, just tone it down, and it just comes into the bottom. Maybe a little more cad medium than that. Yeah, just comes in at the bottom there. One or two of these pieces at the back. Okay. Definitely don't want to be reading this as blades of grass. That comes, I think if you look at your picture, it comes about there probably, and you can actually see blades of grass. So let's put the hitching post in. I'll dry that, take it out, but I want my script for that. And I think it's sort of a mixture of burnt umber and black. Oh, green finger now. What was I mixing it here? I guess a little bit more black probably, a little bit more water on there because I can't make it move. That's fine, that's good. So we'll pop that in. I had transferred it, now I've lost it. I think it's there. You just see that transfer line. It goes right down to the bottom. I'm just going to make it a little bit thicker than that. I want it to be a definite thing. There we are. And this one comes here. You can just see the top of my transfer. So it comes straight down. And it stops just diagonally above it. And there's a cross piece. Like that. Okay, well, that's all very well, but it's a bit too stark. So we need to add a little bit of this titanium buff, which a little bit of that. We don't want it starky stark, but lighter certainly. And the light is coming from this way, as you can see by the colour on the trees and the face of the barn. So we need the bright bit down this side here, and down this side here. That's good. And just along the top there. That's fine. That's as much detail as you need for that. Perfectly fine. So I'll rinse my script out because no doubt I'll be needing it later. So back to the grass. So we've got this dark section in here, which is probably this colour. It's quite bright. I'm just going to mix it with a bit of the earth green. Yeah, that's quite nice. It's quite a nice colour. Let's put this in here. A lot of this is going over what we've already done. It's layering. Acrylics are all about layering, all about the layering. And it sort of fades off over here. Just a bit up there. Like that. Now then, what is there at the base of that? Nothing, really. You can't see any grasses coming up it or anything. There's nothing. Nothing there. Right, that's good. I'm just going to have a little bit of this sienna. Mix a bit of that into it so it's not so starkly brown. And there's just a little bit of darkness in there and in here that you need to be able to see to read the rest of it as grass. As I say, no blades, but make sure that you, the way that you brush out is vertical. Don't go horizontal. It just wouldn't read properly at all. Right, so we've got this section here coming off the front of the house, which is actually very bright green. So it's probably a mixture of that and that, I would say. It really is a bright green. And there's some yellow involvement. As soon as we've done this one, there's some yellow. So this is starting to go up the door now. This comes pretty much all the way along under these dark. It's a little bit more up. Doesn't matter if your mixture changes, because the grass will change anyway. So, you know, if you haven't got the same colour, it doesn't matter. The more colours that you have in the grass, more shades, should I say, of green, the better it'll be. That's why it's a good idea not to mix up masses of any one colour. There we are, we've got that. Now then, the next thing is really a sort of titanium buff with yellow. It's a sort of peg. It's a bright yellow. So I'm going to use a bit of that and a little bit of this Naples yellow, mix them together. That's very, very stiff. Just going to spray my paint for a minute. Try and keep it in the land of the living. And there is just this sort of hint of this yellow vegetation coming along here. And it doesn't really go all the way along. Just comes along the front there, like that. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I think we're back then to titanium buff on its own. I'll just lift some of that out and put some here then. Still got a tiny bit of green on my brush, it's fine. That's okay. So the titanium buff starts about here. That's just 2 titanium buff. And that's just way too dark, so let's start again. Yeah, I think we're probably not far off at that there. So it's just sections of this, let's say, and some quite big sections of it actually. As you come out this way, got hair. I'm sort of convinced by that section. You know, we'll see what it's like when it's dried back. It's hard to judge when it's still wet. Right, okay. Now we are beginning to get to the bit where you can sort of see colours really. And I can see a quite bright green. So I'm just going to dull it back just a little bit with that earth colour. But it starts about here. And it is quite bright. We're just about getting to the stage where you can read grass into this now. in there. Quite a yellowish bit up there. Right, okay, we're making progress. We've sort of reached the stage now where you're beginning to be able to see the blades of grass. So I think we'll start on this bit over here. I'll go back to the brush that I was using, and this is a very yellowy green up around here, very yellowy green. So we'll take some yellow and add it to our green, which will give us a yellowy green. And it's probably just a bit lighter than that actually. Yeah, that sort of colour. And the colours aren't really very well mixed on my brush, and that's fine. I'm happy enough with that. So up here, just beginning to make out blades of grass. I'm going to use my striper because it's easier to get blades with my striper. So these are coming up the barn, all the way along really. And this lovely light colour. So there is no other way around it really, you just have to take your time. Put your grasses in, make them look credible. Just like they grew there, eh? Keep altering your mix a little bit, otherwise they'll all be the same colour and then it stops being credible. Right, so when we get to that front corner, there's quite a bit of this colour that creeps in to it, so I'm just going to mix that in there, give us a lighter colour. Quite a bit on the tip of my brush. It's this lovely bright colour that sort of sinks back down into this green that we've already put on, but now we can see that it's actually grass. So you can see we're beginning to make a difference now. It's beginning to come together. Now along the front of it, but it's along here really that we can see the grass in clumps. And we can't put this colour on there because it's that colour already. So we have to change the hue just a little bit. It needs to be a little bit darker than that, even. Otherwise, you can't see it. I mean, it's work for nothing because it doesn't show up. Even that is barely visible. Let's try this. Yeah, that's good. And we've done most of the hard work of this section already when we put the when we sorted our colours out, when we put those in. So this is pretty much just putting some grasses that are visible in some places where you would see them. It's not every blade of grass. But as we get along here, there are some yellow hues. And some of the grass, is bent over. It's not all standing up in one direction. And there's some yellow under here too. There's quite a lot of yellow in this actually. This is just really at the edge of what you can see, so it's a good idea not to spend too long on that. I'm just going to swap to my other striper, which hasn't had quite so much use over the years. So for this, we've got a lot of the titanium buff in already, so we need to put some browny shades in as we had before, like this. So we need some titanium buff and some burnt umber. That's way too dark. That sort of colour there. And just pick a little bit up. And we're just going to put this sort of colour, long grasses in here. And they grow in every direction, so some even fall over. Don't worry about the bottoms of them because we're going to come back over with a green over that bottom part. Okay, and where else have we got that whole section of it here? No, this is just a bit of it. Okay. So, good, fine. I'm making progress, I think. Let's add some more lines that aren't straight up and down. And probably in that section too, actually, they're probably a little bit too regular. A little bit of this over here. And then there's some here too. And there's some here that goes. Goes right down into the shadows, and it's really crisscrossy. It's very close to us, we can see it all, and it really is crissy-crossy. So we'll put some in this colour mixture, and then we'll put some in pure titanium buff. There's some thicker bits as well, actually. Join that up. We're getting closer and closer to titanium buff as we go, actually. I'm going to give that brush a good wash out. And go back to where we were. Really, we've advanced a bit too much with that colour, so we need a sort of yellowy green, and we need to go back up to here. put some clumps of that in. A bit more green, I think. Yeah, that's better. Sometimes you mix a green and you think, oh, it's too green. Give it a try first. If it is, well, don't use it. But there really are clumps here that we can see, that we can actually make out as being grass. And using our underpainting to help us guide where we need to be. So some green in here, in at the bottom of these dry grass. In fact, we'll pop the green in, and it'll break up that colour that we've just put in the very dry ones. Right, now I'm going to start using my script. I want to say I'm losing my brain, I think. Paint's just drying up a little bit, so I'll give it a bit of life, saving water hopefully. Let's mix up a colour that we haven't already got in use anywhere. It's a nice dark rich green. And we'll start putting that into here. I think we're getting to the stage where we're putting too much detail in here. I don't want all that detail. I'm painting it, but I don't want it. Some more titanium buff, but I'm not sure. I'll pop it in here. Yeah. I'm just going to take a break for a moment, rinse my brush out. Hiya. Well, when I said I needed to think about this a couple of seconds ago in your world, actually it's been quite a long time in my world. Life's events overtook me somewhat, let's say, and I couldn't get time to get this finished. I couldn't even do my normal Saturday night lives. So I'm sorry that I left you hanging in the lurch with the grass to finish off. I got so fed up of looking at this that I actually got stuck in and did some of the grass off camera. So you can see now, if you want to show a picture, please, that I have actually done quite a lot of work to the grass. There's still a little bit to go, so I'm quite happy to show you what I've done and where we are. I've made this area here, sort of leading up to the door, quite light, because I want it almost to look quite flat, like people walk up and down there to this old barn. I'm quite sure they don't, because I mean, why would you? But I like that effect, and I lightened this up in the background as well. And for that, I've been using my golden opens actually for this, because it gives you more working time. You can go back into it and change things up if you're not happy with things. But the colours I've been using are green gold, titanium buff, sap green, and a bit of phthalo green, blue shade. Not very much at all of that, just to change the sap green or the green gold up slightly. So I've got little bits of those out on my palette, because there isn't an awful lot left to do. What you will see, if you can, is that up to here and along to here, there's no real blades of grass. I've put shapes of clumps of grass, but they're not blades. But when you get to here, this is where you start to see the blades of grass coming in. And in order to achieve those, I have used my dagger brush. You see that there? It's very much like a 1/4 inch angle shader, but you'll get a much finer line with it. And I found it to be very good for this. The shadow that we had in here, which was very dark, I've left it, of course, in the background, but I have put quite a lot of taller grasses, because that's what we're seeing first. So seeing the details, and we're seeing a bit of height on these ones down here, and then it just gradually goes away to just clumps of colour, really. But in order to achieve these darker ones, I'll put one here. You just basically make sure your brush is damp, pick up some sap green in our case. That's the darkest green we have. Load your brush up, and you just paint your little blades of grass in. They don't all go nicely, they don't all come from the root going at a nice angle. Some are crisscross, but they are all very fine. And really, you could do that forever and a day to get your blades of grass in here. Don't go over onto this, of course. Goes without saying. If you want to, put some tape up there, save calamities occurring. Here's quite a light part of it, which I like. I don't have anything against it. But I'm just going to mix up some sap green and some of this golden green. What's it called? Green gold? Green gold. Give us a sort of mid-tone colour. And it's just the same. Just put your blades of grass in. Some of them crossing, some of them just straight. And you'll be looking at your work and you'll think, nothing's happening here. I've been here for 3 hours and I'm still putting lines up and down things. But I really recommend that every 5 minutes, maybe even, or 10 minutes certainly, that you actually get up, walk away from your picture, 6 foot or so, and have a look at it and see what the picture's telling you it needs. Does it need any, darker greens, any lighter greens anywhere? Is it reading like a tussocky field? And I actually think that we've achieved that, and that you have the knowledge, you really do, to do this. It will go through the most awful, ugly stage. As you saw at the end of, before we had this long pause, it is an ugly stage. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just ugly. But the more you keep adding detail to it and going over it, the more you will achieve something like this, which is what I wanted to achieve. We've still got our light grasses in there, the sort of dead ones, etc. Got these lovely hints of tussocks in there, which I'm sure there is. We've still got our shadow that you can still see, but we've painted over the shadow with the grass that is there. The grass doesn't stop because there's a shadow. It's just darker. So, what can I say? It's been a blast. It's been really good. I have totally enjoyed doing this. It turned out better than I thought it might. But it's had so many interesting things. You know, the outside of it is one bit of interest, the old barn itself, the sky, the tree, the background, and this lovely grass, which will test your patience. But have a go. Please. If you don't like it, you can always paint over it. But please have a go. So, onwards and upwards, we'll be on to our next series very soon, once I decide what it is. So I will post on the Miss Acrylic Paintalot group when that's coming up, so you can get started, get your teeth into another one. Thank you very much for sticking with me. I really, really appreciate it. And I'd appreciate if you'd put your finished pictures up on the Miss Acrylic Paintalot's page so we can all marvel at your talents. Thanks very much. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Me and the boys were sitting around drinking. We was talking about things that we was thinking, when all of a sudden, what comes out of Bill's mouth? Said I'm getting old and fat and slow, and I don't recover like I did before from nights of rabble, rousing, and too much fun. Well, I looked around and we all agreed, and I had a drink and I ordered 3 and I staggered